Xiaomi Redmi Note 11s review, a strong budget all-rounder with a capable 108MP camera. Redmi has fast become a go-to name for anyone looking for value in their next smartphone. The Xiaomi-owned marques phones tend to retail for around the £200 mark and often punch above their weight. The Redmi Note 11s effectively bridges the gap between the Redmi Note 11 and the Redmi Note 11 Pro. It's got the basic design and display of the former, but the more advanced camera setup and processor of the latter. It's priced accordingly, though its global presence will be limited compared to its brothers. There are no plans to launch it in the UK, though importing phones is a lot easier than it used to be. The real question is, does the Redmi Note 11s represent the sweet spot in this compelling budget phone range? Let's find out. The Redmi Note 11s really does look and feel an awful lot like the Redmi Note 11. Held side by side, they're practically indistinguishable, with the same plain but classy design language and the same layout of all of its buttons and components. There's the same matte plastic back and the same flat metal effect frame. It also sports the exact same basic dimensions of 159.9 x 73, 9 by 8.1 mm, the same weight of 179 grams, and the same IP53 dust and water resistance rating. You get the same bonus combo of a 3.5 mm headphone jack and an IR blaster on the top edge of the phone too. That latter component allows you to control your TV or your stereo using Xiaomi's Mi Remote app, which isn't something you can claim of many phones these days. Another welcome inclusion is a pair of stereo speakers. Such a feature didn't even appear in the £300 OnePlus Nord CE2 recently, so it shouldn't be taken for granted at this end of the market. Just about the only design element that gives the game away here is the Redmi Note 11s's camera module. It's shaped very similarly when viewed head-on, but where the main sensor sits flush with the rest of the camera module on the Note 11, it protrudes further on the Note 11s. The Redmi Note 11s packs exactly the same 6.43 inches AMOLED display as the Redmi Note 11, with the same Full HD Plus resolution. It's not exactly a standout component, but it exudes an all-round sense of competence in all areas. And that's all you really need at this end of the market. It's certainly better than getting a more basic LCD screen. Xiaomi claims a maximum brightness of 1000 nits with auto brightness activated. I recorded a measured luminance of 430 nits with auto brightness turned off, which is about the same, unsurprisingly, as the Redmi Note 11. The Redmi Note 11s uses MediaTek's Helio G96 chip. This is the same chip that's used in the 4G-only Redmi Note 11 Pro, not the Snapdragon 680 of the Redmi Note 11 or the Snapdragon 695 used in the Redmi Note 11 Pro 5G. It's a much older and less efficient chip than both of those alternatives, as it's built to an old 12nm standard rather than the 6nm of the two Snapdragons. The Redmi Note 11s offers either 6 or 8 GB RAM, which is a tad higher than the Note 11's 4 or 6 GB and unusually high for a budget phone. In storage terms, the Note 11s gives you either 64 or 128 GB, like its close brother. With many phones at this price now defaulting to 128 GB, this feels like an area where Xiaomi has worked some room in the budget for the phone's impressive camera. Another notable omission is 5G. Like the plain Redmi Note 11, you'll have to make do with 4G connectivity here, so look elsewhere if that's an issue. The Redmi Note 11s runs exactly the same quad camera system as the Redmi Note 11 Pro. Technically, you could even argue that it's a superior setup to the Redmi Note 11 Pro 5G that's being sold here in the UK, though the inclusion of a 2MP depth camera here doesn't really count for much. Regardless, the headliner here is undoubtedly a 108MP main camera, which features a large, for a budget phone at least, 1/1.52 inches image sensor. You don't get full 108MP shots as standard, of course. Xiaomi uses 9-in-1 pixel binning to create sharper, more balanced 12MP snaps. This is backed by an 8MP ultra-wide with a 118-degree viewing angle, a 2MP macro camera, and of course that 2MP depth sensor. Like its brothers, the Redmi Note 11s packs a 5000 mAh battery, which should prove ample for getting you through a full day of moderate usage. As I've already made reference to, however, the Redmi Note 11S runs on a less efficient processor than the Redmi Note 11 and Redmi Note 11 Pro 5G. That appears to take its toll when indulging in more intensive use cases. The Redmi Note 11S features MIUI 13 running on top of Android 11, not the most recent version, and it offers no great surprises or innovations. I suspect that few reviewers would name Xiaomi's MIUI as their favorite Android skin. There's a certain crudeness to its chunky app icons and full-page app download notifications. The strength of Xiaomi's software remains in its personalization potential. The Themes app, in particular, grants a vast range of custom theme skins that grant your home screen and menus with a completely new and cohesive look. The Redmi Note 11S isn't going to be sold in the UK, so we haven't been given UK pricing. What we do have is official global prices in US dollars, even though the phone won't launch there either.